I get asked frequently whether CBD will work if you just take it when it's needed or if it's something that you need to take all the time. So today I want to answer that question for you. Let's go. What's up, my friend? Welcome to the CBD and You podcast. And yes, you means you. And I believe you are here for a reason. I'm Lori, a Christian, a wife, a mama, and a midwife. And to put a little icing on the cake, my husband and I own a hemp farm in Tennessee. Girlfriend, I see it in your eyes, and I feel it in the messages you send me. You are tired of waking up every day exhausted with aches and pains that you really thought you were too young for. And with all the stress and anxiety of the day, you're over it. Are you starting to wonder if this is really all life is? I hear you, and you are not alone. God did not design us to just survive. He designed us to thrive. So if you're ready to embrace this beautiful life God has given you by discovering some of His best gifts for His children, rewarm that coffee you forgot about in the microwave, and let's take a minute to pour back into you with a quick chat and some me time. Let's go. You know, it's really pretty hard to not think medically about everything when we live in a world full of pills being thrown at everything, and it doesn't seem to matter what your ailment is. There's some drug that is available. Now it's all synthetic and it causes a slew of other problems, but we think of things very medically in our culture. And because of that, we think about how different medications are taken. And some medications are, in the medical world, known as PRN, means as needed. Others are around the clock, but they're both still medications. We think about things like Tylenol, Motrin, these different kind of pain medication drugs that you take as needed. And so it makes you start to think that everything that you need can just be taken when you need it and you don't have to take it regularly. And sometimes it's hard to break from that mentality, especially when you're using something natural like CBD. I want to refer you back, if you haven't already listened to episode 8, that's going to be a really good place for you to start because CBD is not a medication. It is something very, very different. It works with a system in our body in a way that is very normal and natural, and actually you have these cannabinoids in your system even if you don't take CBD out of a bottle. It's just that many of our endocannabinoid systems aren't working very optimally because of all the other environmental impacts on us. So when you take CBD oil out of a bottle, you are boosting that system. And because that system is there working all the time, it's something that is needed all the time. So let me try to explain this to you a little bit better. It is a maintenance system. Think of it like the maintenance man at an apartment complex. To have a good maintenance program, he needs to be there all the time, he or she. I know it could be both, but usually it's a he. He needs to be there all the time so he can respond quickly, right? If you have a problem and you can call him and he's there right away, you get things taken care of quickly. But if he's remote and he's just on call, the wait is going to be longer and the problem might progress while you're waiting. So it's always better to have him there on board, ready to go when the problem arises. CBD is kind of like that. So let's dig in just a little bit more. Another way to think about it is CBD is kind of like a hormone. It's not a hormone, but think of it that way. When your hormones are up and down, you just don't feel well. We ladies, we talk about being hormonal all the time and how we have hormonal swings. They're up, they're down, and you just don't feel balanced when that's happening. And the endocannabinoid system is kind of a balancing system. So if you have it up and down all the time, you're not going to have that balance that you're wanting in your life. The cannabinoids from the endocannabinoid system help restore homeostasis is the fancy word, but balance after there's an injury or there's trauma or something's off with your sleep. It comes in like that maintenance man and gets things back where they're supposed to be. If you only take it every now and then, you might get some results. I don't want to tell you that it's not going to do anything. It'll do something. Definitely will do something. But the problem is it's not going to work as optimally. The one indication that I have seen that really does work fairly well as needed is when you're using it for sleep. Just because you can take it and an hour later, most people are going to feel pretty sleepy. That's one of the reasons why I always recommend that you take that very first dose. If you've never been taking CBD, that you always take it at night when you first start, so that that sleepiness hits you at the appropriate time, not when you're out doing things that you need to be alert for. Now, that takes us back to another episode as well about sleep and how it doesn't make you sleepy all the time. If you take it on a regular basis, it doesn't make you sleepy during the day and then to where you can't function. It makes you sleepy when you're supposed to be sleepy. Again, it restores that balance. But I digress. That's not the point of this episode. The way to get the best benefits is to take it all around the clock, because your endocannabinoid receptors need to be saturated for you to get the benefit. The system needs to be stimulated into making its own cannabinoids. That's actually one of the cool things about the CBD oil, is when you're taking those cannabinoids from the plants called phytocannabinoids through this oil, it actually makes your own system work better, and it stimulates it to make its own cannabinoids better. But they need to be ready to go and not on call waiting remotely. Back to the maintenance man illustration. When those cannabinoids are there, ready to go, they can deal with whatever the situation is when it's needed. So taking CBD oil daily, usually at least twice a day, is going to be the way to get the best and the most consistent results, especially for things like anxiety and pain management. Because obviously, anxiety is one of those things that sometimes can hit you broadside. Maybe you don't see it coming. And if you don't have those cannabinoids on board ready to go, you're going to have a much stronger swing in your mood and in your emotions than if it's already there, ready to balance things out, ready to deal with it in the moment. Same thing for pain. Obviously, pain is an ongoing thing for many people. And so you're going to want to have those cannabinoids there, ready to go and available throughout the day. So most conditions that CBD oil helps with will be best relieved when you're using the oil at least twice daily. If you want to know more about why you need to take it so often, more details about that, go back to episode 11, and I really talk more in detail about that there. So will it work as needed? Kinda, but not the best. Because some people definitely do notice a difference after that very first dose. And like I said earlier, I recommend you take your first dose at night for that reason. And one of the things people notice first, even if you're taking it for pain or pain or anxiety, the help with the sleep is usually one of the first things that people notice. They get a better night's sleep. But for pain and anxiety and inflammation, these things that are ongoing issues that you need help with throughout the day, sometimes without much notice ahead of time, you always want to have the cannabinoids on board, ready to go, not waiting for you to take a dose and then for it to get into your system and then maybe having to wait for another dose later so that your receptors are saturated to where you actually notice a difference. It's always better to be taking it. And in fact, when I send you the instructions for how to take CBD oil, I always say don't judge your results until you've been taking it maybe 3 or 4 days, because up until that point, especially if your endocannabinoid system has not been working at its optimal, you're probably not going to get a great result until those receptors have a good amount of cannabinoids available to do what they need to do. Did this help you today? I really hope it has. And if it has, I hope you'll leave me a review. Let me know. That's one of the best ways to let me know. And it's also one of the best ways to help me reach more people just like you. But if it led to more questions, or maybe I didn't fully answer your question, I'd love for you to go to speakpipe.com/CBDYOU and let me know what other questions you have so that I can address them in a future episode. Also, be sure to go and grab your special discount code that's still available, 20% off of your entire cart, no matter what you put in there. And the salve, by the way, is available again. I know I had it up as back order for a little while I was waiting for an ingredient, but it's back in stock. So you're good to go now on that. So go to bit.ly/CBD and you show, bit.ly/CBD and you show. Load up your cart, put everything in there you want, and make sure that you use that link or put in CBD and you in the promo code box at checkout, and you will get 20% off of your entire order. And I usually ship either same day or next day, depending on what time your order comes in. So it's really fast shipping, gets to you quick, and I just can't wait to hear how it helps you, how it works for you, and what it does for you. So I will see you right back here next week. Whoa, wait, stop. I need your help. Before you take off, if this podcast has blessed you in any way, or if you learned something, could you take 1 minute and leave me a written review over on Apple Podcasts? That's the absolute best way you can thank me. I love hearing how what I've learned on my journey has helped you on yours. Remember that the Word says every good gift and every perfect gift is from above. CBD is one of them, but there are so many more. Cling to Him and you will never go wrong. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you back here in a few days.